Alright, so I'm back now. Back on this refrigerator. So I had to order the juice for it because it's 600 600R. Comes with a big green can. My testo gauges, they'll work on this because it reads the 600, and this is my piercing valve. So we have to put the piercing valve on it, and we're going to add a little juice to it. See if it works, bro. Let's go from here, man. Let's do this. We're back. So I couldn't use that piercing valve, it was the wrong size. So I had to go get another one. It's a little bit different, but it's supposed to fit that 1/4 inch line. So we'll get putting that on there. We'll go from there. Woohoo! It's Monday. Okay, so this is the piercing part, and then you put this little pin on there, and then you screw this down, and what happens is it starts to crank that pin out. Now the pin is what penetrates the line, and then when you're done, you screw it back out all the way and take this back off, and then you got like a Schrader valve. So, but you need one of these two. This is a 1/4 inch, so that's going to sit on there, and then the back sits right here, so you put it on there like that. You see that? And then that makes it 1/4 inch, so it pushes it against that rubber sheet just like so, mashes it real good and tight. Then you get your 2 screws you put in. I'll see which way it's screwed on. Okay, so get to stare at my big old fingers and get them started before I set it where I want it to be. Just get it started. Tighten up on there. All right, so I think I would like to have this pointing downwards, because right here, this is where they factory charge the thing. So I want it downwards. The reason, well, I guess it really don't matter, because I can always push this up and back in there a little bit. So let's go this route. Tighten it down real good. Tighten this up. See, I can move this line around. So she's nice and tight, because you know these things don't have a lot of pressure to them. So then we want to put a pin, put that on there, and then we take this and we screw it down. And this is going to puncture the line. Pretty sure I already punctured. There we go. Bottomed out. Now we screw it back out. And there we go. All there is to it. It gives you an extra little washer if you need it. We'll put this back in the bag. I need it lit. Let's go ahead and screw this on there. Nice tight. And then of course we got our can of 600A. Make sure that's on there tight. And this is also a piercing valve. So I'm going to close this valve off first. We'll go ahead and pierce this valve, or this tank. It should be open. There we go. Because I can't hear very well. So I know it's on now. So this is on. Okay. My valves are closed. I'm gonna turn my head on. Come on. Bring it in here a little closer so you can see what I'm doing here. So we're gonna watch. And because I don't have any thermostat gauges, temperature gauges, so I'm just reading pressures. Right now it says I got no pressure. Let's open this up and see what it says. No, there is no pressure. There is nothing, man. So I'm only working on the low side. Okay, so my line, my juice is coming in right here. Open that up. So my juice is coming on. Make sure we're good and tight. We'll make sure that valve's open all the way. Hold on a second. Okay, so these little guys they're not under a whole lot of pressure. I mean, very, very little pressure on these tanks. So that's why I was like, what's going on? They don't have a lot of pressure on it. And these are low loss, my bad. So I went ahead and turned the refrigerator on. It looks like I got 0.1, point nothing now. It's reading 0.7. Now it's reading 5.1. Took a second for the compressor to kick on. Let's let this run for a couple minutes because I just turned it on. Let's give it a minute to build up some pressure maybe. So I let it run for a minute and it's up to 26.5, 26.4. It's only on the low side. So I'm gonna get my temperature gauges out and see what I come up with. Because right now she's running 26. So I got my testo thermometer inside the freezer while I'm back here messing with this. I'm just watching the temperature. It's 63.2 in there right now. I'm running 28 PSI. So we'll just monitor this for a couple minutes. So right now is all I'm doing. You know, I've got my thermal gauges hooked up. Of course, they're not doing any good on this, but I'm just watching my pressure and my temperature on the phone because the temperature's got the probe on that refrigerator. So I'm just watching it right now to see what's going on with it. That's all I'm doing. I can see my sight glass, the liquid in there is just pip, pip, pip. That's all it's doing. It's just moving real slow. So just take my time with it. So I'm still in the process of letting it run. My pressure gauge started to fluctuate a little bit. My superheat, because for some reason it's not wanting to read subcool, so I don't know why. But anyways, so it's fluctuating. Superheat's at 17. My temperature on the phone hasn't come down, so it's just a waiting game. On this stuff, it's so small, you just have to wait, just like working with 410A. Just waiting game, man. 17 PSI now. My temperature just started to drop. I'm at 60 degrees, 0.5. It was at 60 degrees, 0.4, 3. So it's a very, very tedious process. Because I don't have a set of, I don't know what the setting on this is supposed to be. So I'm just very slowly easing into it. Right now it's reading superheat at 10 at 19 PSI. So we're just gonna wait it out. I'm at 59 now, it's 56, so just wait it out here for a little bit. So I've got the temperature come down to 37. It's dropping pretty good. My light died. I can't see it. I should probably get a flashlight. So my pressure's at 8.8, 19 superheat. The compressor kicked off a while ago because the head pressure was too high. But I readjusted it and got it to come down a little bit. So I'm at 9 PSI now, 18. And my temperature is 36. It's not moving, so 35, but that's a freezer. The other thing I messed up was I didn't have that door on there. So as soon as I put this door on there, man, that head pressure jumped big time. So we're at 36.8. I think the compressor just kicked off again. So we'll keep adjusting it, man, back and forth, back and forth. The so far conclusion on this, I've got the temperature in the freezer now. I've got that thermometer right beside the vent on the freezer. So it's dropped down to 28. This has to be 0, or pretty freaking close to being 0, in order for the freezer to be working properly. That's according to Frigidaire, Whirlpool. And then my pressure is 9.3, but I keep losing my superheat. So if I just barely bleed off, you watch, see the superheat starting to count back up. So I'm bleeding it off just so slightly to get my temperature to come up. So that's what the process is right now. I'm at 28.3 and I'm 8 on the pressure gauge. So it's just a waiting game, back and forth, mess with it and turn it off. I think I might have it finally dialed in. It's fluctuating between 8.5 and 10 on the superheat. I'm at 4.8 on the pressure, but my temperature is at 17.4 degrees in the freezer, but it's slowly ticking down. I mean, really slowly. So I think what I'm gonna do right now is that I'm gonna let this run overnight. See, it just hit 17.3. So I think I'm gonna let it run overnight to see exactly how well it does, because I got my superheat up to 9 now. So, you know, between 8 and 10 is where you want to be on the superheat. So at 4.9 PSI, there's 5. Man, that thing just barely rolls anything in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on it. And because the reason why is because the line is frosting up. This thing is running pretty weird, so I'm gonna let this go for the night and see what happens. Hey man, crazy. Anyway, so well, like I said, we'll let that run overnight, man, and we'll see how it pans out tomorrow. Never know. I'm pretty sure it fixed it. I might just need a little tip of charge on there, or a little bit more out, but man, it's only running with like what, 5 PSI. I can blow harder than that. Anyways, I figured, I'm pretty sure that fixed it. See you guys later. Peace out, bro.